Time to start.
Rock concert movement number 1. The basic head bob. Ready, go.
All right, Bradshaw with you here on a Wednesday afternoon in the capital city. All part of God's plan. Thanks for coming along.
A very unfortunate part of God's plan.
This is like going to be the last shorts and t-shirt. I see you're taking part as well, Dan. So I can let. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to do this for an hour, and then Vader's going to the dog park. Maybe
Is it sunny out yet?
No, it's still like. I think that's why we're not going to like hit the record today.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 81 or something like that.
Yeah, it's still in the mid 70s. But if we get some sunshine,
I rode the motorcycle.
yeah, Vader's going to the big dog side of the dog park
Ooh,
today.
big dog.
No,
How big's Vader? I guess
18 pounds. Weighed him last night.
Oh, there you go.
18 pounds of spite and fury.
You do look like the kid that would have the toy dog.
It's not a toy dog. It does not fit in a purse.
It's only because you don't own a purse.
Although I have considered like putting him in like a hockey bag and taking him up the service escalator.
I'm
here
just
so
not
I can,
hearing this. I'm not
so I can bring him into the show. Don't you want to meet Vader? He's a fun dog. Loves everyone.
I don't care if you bring your dog in.
If Ed can bring his bike and talk to him.
You know, Ed's bike is pretty
At
silly.
least Vader is a quasi-sentient,
Yeah, no.
being.
He can answer for himself instead of having the producer do it.
He does speak quite a bit. And if we put like pictures, I was thinking about getting. Have you seen Dog TV?
No.
It's you can get it on cable in some places in California, or you can stream it via Apple TV or app. But it's a subscription service. It's like $9 a month, and they take videos and they do like color correction so that dogs can see them because they don't have the same color vision we do.
Sure.
And as long as you have a TV with a fast enough refresh, like a 60,
I have a
hertz,
120.
dogs can see that. Anything below like 80 or 90 just looks like flickering images
Sure.
to them, whereas like 30 looks just fine. I assume this is 30 frames per second.
Sure.
That's what we're broadcasting. Looks fine to humans. Your dog will look at this and go, so they do different segments. It'll be like the excitement segment, and it'll like roll balls to the camera and show dogs running around. And then there's like the relaxation segment, shows dogs laying down, going sleepy.
And this costs money?
Yeah.
I would think they would have to pay me to have
No, it's great for dogs.
Do you turn your TV on for your dog?
Yeah, I left him with Maury today.
He's going to be concerned about who his father is?
He's fixed, so Maury is perfectly safe.
No, he's going to be concerned about whether you're really his father or not.
Oh, no, I have actually pictures of his. We got pictures when we adopted him. Where is it?
You adopted him?
Well, okay, bought him, but apparently the animal rights people really don't
No, they get mad.
like that. That's Vader's daddy.
Is he a corgi?
No, that's a dachshund.
Oh, okay.
And then
The
there's
Blue Merle
Mommy, and
dachshund.
he looks a lot like Mommy.
Oh, he's not Blue Merle? See, the Blue Merle's pretty cool.
Now, here, I'll show you a picture. Here, this is all of him.
Oh,
We think that's him right here. Kind of. He's always been a little bit of a loner.
There you go. Let's try it again.
All right, we'll zoom here. This is find a good picture of the puppy. There's where we stayed in Mexico.
Yeah, that's pretty
One of those
nice.
Endless pools.
Not
Hey, kind of not too shabby. There's Tom Harkin.
Why do you have a picture of Tom Harkin?
When we were in D.C., that's the puppy.
It's kind of scruffy looking.
Yeah, and with Siri now, Vader is my puppy.
Okay, but I already know that Vader Bradshaw is your puppy.
Show Vader. No, not show later.
I'm on it.
Show Vader.
Okay, here's the contact.
See, and it's got Vader Bradshaw. Puppy. So, yeah, I know. I don't get out much.
Yeah. Dude, we can hang out sometime. It's cool. We can go buy a beer together or something. I mean, you obviously need to get out more.
I know. Someone bring me a 6-pack of Grain Belt or something.
There you go.
I need a premium. But we need some light and fluffy to start the show with, because it's one of those days. Typically, silly season
Well, I would definitely say that Donald Trump is silly.
Silly season is kind of...
I mean, have you
from
seen his hair?
When the nominations are sewn up
Sure.
to convention time, and that's when a lot of fluff and etc. and weird stuff happens. Typically, once your convention is held, everything's pretty much on lockdown. You don't want what they call the October surprise. You don't want anything disrupting your narrative. You're telling a story about yourself and your candidate. You have a brand. I mean, this is how politics works. You don't want miscellaneous entering in because, again, it's kind of unknowable, uncontrollable, and gets kind of silly. So we've got competing October surprises from Donald Trump's hair and Gloria Allred. Very disappointing with the Trump. We were expecting more. I wanted the Whitey tape. Are you familiar with the Whitey tape phenomenon?
No, but I was really thinking he had something.
That's Trump's job. P.S. Tune into the Celebrity Apprentice, blah, 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 Gary Busey. The Whitey tape became sort of the holy grail of the right in 2008. And multiple people had claimed that, we've seen it, we have it. It's a tape of, Michelle Obama, damning Whitey. And, any day now it was going to come out and it was going to completely turn the election. We're still waiting.
Sure.
I have hope. It's out there somewhere. Get looking, Breitbartians.
What does that matter, though? I mean, I'm going to be honest here. I don't think any one person in any one race has never not said something negative about another race.
No, I've said I hate white people all the time.
Yeah, well, that's
mostly while driving through suburban traffic.
Yeah, I mean,
minivans and SUVs.
I mean, even if she said that to me, it really wouldn't be because it's not like
restaurants.
I haven't heard that from other people turned around. So
no. In fact, I would argue that it's become like, what does the term shuck and jive mean?
I have no idea.
Neither does Sarah Palin, but she used it today. And kind of like when she broke out the blood libel.
Yeah.
Again, not knowing what it meant. That sort of dog whistly.
I'm not sure she didn't know what she meant. I think she just uses bigger words.
No, I don't think she knows what blood libel means.
What does blood libel mean?
That Jews are like taking the blood of little Christian children into their matzah. That is actually the origin.
That is not the origin of the word.
Blood libel.
The origin of the word stems back to medieval times, and it has to do with killing somebody and being liable for their blood. But anyway, so go on. Carry on, please.
So the dog whistling, he's foreign. His ideas are foreign. We get a lot of that, and Trump feeding into that today. But first... in my time moving away from Iowa, I had the unfortunate pleasure of living in some unfortunate places. One of them was Indiana. I had to spend some quality time with Eddie Money, and Ted Nugent called me a blood brother. It's a really weird place. Filled
Ted
with really...
Nugent didn't call you.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. You're a liar.
Would I lie about Ted Nugent? He shoots people for that.
I think you would. I think
No,
you're a liar. And the
we
truth's
had an
not in you.
interview lined up with Ted Nugent. It was right after he had talked to those dudes in Denver, and they got into you're kind of a racist, Ted. So we had a nice discussion. He was coming to town to play a concert.
Sure.
I was leaving town that weekend, so I found it very convenient. And yes, he called me a blood brother. I kid you not. Would I lie about Ted Nugent calling me a blood brother?
Yes.
What? To get what,
Even
liberal
Mac just
cred?
said yes.
To get liberal cred or something?
I don't know why you would lie
It's a
about
strange place, is what I'm telling you, filled with strange people. But I was closer to White Castle, so it did have that going for it, which was nice.
White Castle.
There's one in Michigan City.
I was so excited for the grape soda at White Castle, and I remember why I quit drinking grape soda. It's just nasty.
No, you don't eat like the chili cheese fries. You just have sliders. If you really want to get adventurous, you put cheese on them, and that's really the beginning and the end.
Oh no, I've had it one time in my life where it wasn't the microwave ones, and I was really excited, because I saw Harold and Kumar, and I was like, oh yeah,
it's great, especially if you're wasted.
And I spent the next day and a half in the bathroom.
That's why they call them sliders. But you're either a White Castle person, or aka a good person, or not. There's no in between.
That's the basis. That is the basis to defining good person and not good
Yes,
person.
whether you like White Castle.
Barack Obama hates White Castle.
I don't think so.
No, he's on the record saying it.
I don't think so.
He says he doesn't even like it.
From a guy from Chicago, no way. I don't buy that.
I'm telling you, he's not from Chicago. He's from Kenya. Remember?
Oh, I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. Indiana's a strange place, and I had the pleasure of voting for a blue dog, Joe Donnelly, to represent that area in Congress. And again, while I crack on blue dogs like Leonard Boswell, when they don't need to be blue dogs, and we're seeing the ultimate folly kind of that strategery. Yeah, when Ed Fallon primaried him, magically, Leonard Boswell moves to the left. Oh, Republicans resurgent? Well, I'm just going to take a couple steps over to the right. He's going to pander to the NRA. We don't need a blue dog in, central Iowa.
Careful now. You're going to get sued.
Sorry.
I just want you to...
I think I'm still okay. I haven't called him like a pederast or anything.
You just did.
No, I don't think he is. In fact, I think he's a very brave man. You look at his military accomplishments or the fact that he will kick the ass of a home invader. Don't put a shotgun in Leonard Boswell's face. He will beat you down. Something about walking into
the lesson learned there is if you're going to put a shotgun in his face, pull the trigger.
You know what? As much as I enjoy meeting the Secret Service, and they are fun people, at the Living History Farms event, they had him search my car because we were pulling up rather close. And then the dogs got in the back seat where Vader hangs out. That's where he rides. And that drug-sniffing or bomb-sniffing dog kind of went nuts in the back seat of my car. And it's like, no, I got a dog. I got a dog. Oh, okay. I don't want any more visits. So, no, we're not going to say that. That was Dan, not me.
Hey, I didn't suggest it's a good idea. I'm just saying.
If you want to give your address to kind of speed up the process.
If you're going to break into Boswell's house, you better be willing to do something with it.
No, Leonard Boswell's a brave dude until he gets to the U.S. House of Representatives, and then he just, like a cheap suit.
That's not cheap suit. He's sellable.
No, he's not. I don't think it's a matter of sellable. I think it's a matter of...
You don't think he politically gains off of pandering to people?
Come on, in fact, if you look at this...
I have more respect for you than this, Bradshaw.
Hear me out. For example, when he voted to hold Eric Holder in contempt, that was after the NRA announced that they would be scoring that vote to hold Eric Holder in contempt. And Boswell went along. Why? He wants to get that NRA endorsement. Even though statistically it doesn't help, doesn't really do much for incumbents. We've run the numbers on these sorts of things, but it's important to him because he thinks that that's going to put him over the top, as if the rabid, die-hard Republicans of 2012 are willing to give anyone with a D next to their name any credit. That's why I have no use for Leonard Boswell. In a place like South Bend, Indiana, I understand the need for blue dogs. They serve a purpose there. I've given money. Joe Donnelly, Stephanie Herseth. It would be like you want to run a blue dog in Nancy Pelosi's district. No, it's stupid. You're doing yourself harm there. That's part of my beef with Leonard Boswell. Joe Donnelly is a conservative Democrat. He's also running for Senate this year in Indiana. This is up for Dick Lugar's seat. Now, Dick Lugar is a long-time senator from Indiana, and he got Tea Party primaried, the thing that keeps guys like Orrin Hatch up at night. And Lugar lost. And part of the reason he did was Murdoch ran some very successful ads claiming that Dick Lugar is Barack Obama's favorite, Republican. I guess somewhere along the line, someone did a survey and found out that perhaps Barack Obama, Super Allah himself, is not very popular among Indiana Republicans. I know someone actually got paid, I'm sure, to do that survey. So in spite of his 77%, scorecard from the American Conservative Union, Richard Murdoch, who state treasurer, was bounced in rather handily in the Republican primary. So here's Richard Murdoch, and here's a guy, who's on the record saying that Social Security and Medicare are unconstitutional, to be done away with. In a debate with Joe Donnelly last night. See, you typically, something like that, you want to hold it on Monday night. All right, you want to hold this against a presidential or vice presidential debate so it gets as little attention as possible. But it was held last night, and here's the clip of Richard Murdoch. No, that's Donald Trump. Close. Similar. Not quite.
This is that issue that every candidate for federal or even state office faces, and I, too, certainly stand for life. I know there are some who disagree, and I respect their point of view, but I believe that life begins at conception. The only exception I have to have an abortion is in that case of the life of the mother. I struggled with it myself for a long time, but I came to realize life is that gift from God, and I think even when life begins in that horrible situation of rape, that it is something that God intended to happen. Mr. Donnelly's comments about Obamacare and what's happening there, trying to reform it, that's good to reform it, but it should not be here in the first place. The fact that we have the Catholic Church and so many institutions having to file a lawsuit to get their basic freedom that I thought was guaranteed under the Constitution, the practice of your religion, that now there has to be an amendment put forward to somehow bring that about. If the law had never been passed, that lawsuit wouldn't be in place, and religious freedom would not today be in question.
All right, let's continue with rebuttals, Mr. Horn.
All right, two things. One,
my experience where you have
not all religion is... ask the Rastafarians. Sometimes law can get in the way with the practicing of your religion. I don't believe... do we have any Mayans walking around the U.S.? I don't think anyone's, sacrificed a virgin anytime lately. So that's a whole other issue. I don't know why, in a Republican Party that typically is pretty good with messaging, at this point, why the memo hasn't gone out, never mention rape in any way, shape, or form. Don't mention it, don't think about it, don't refer to it, don't use the word, don't talk around it. Nothing good is going to come of it for you. But much like Todd Aiken, who displayed a stunning
This is 100
lack
times
of,
less offensive than Todd Aiken. Come on now.
no, a stunning lack of knowledge of how the female body works. Now Richard Murdoch steps into it. This pregnancy is God, something God intended to happen.
What did you think he was going to say?
At what point in the rape did God take the wheel? I mean,
The entire thing. Yeah, I just said it. God is in control. That's the fundamental of Christian beliefs, is that God created the world, spoke it into existence, and that everything is under his control. Now, people sin. God allows that for whatever reason. The fact that he would create life out of a terrible tragedy like that, he creates life out of all kinds of things. So
I don't know if that's helping matters here.
Because
Because even Murdoch, after the debate, tried to spin his comments. I don't think it necessarily made them any better.
Well, he didn't need to spin them. They weren't offensive to me. I don't think they're offensive to any baby born out of a rape circumstance. I mean, the problem you have with this, Bradshaw, is that there's still a life, and you're ending a life whether you're a victim or not. I feel horrible. I think we should put the death penalty to rapists. I absolutely, no questions asked, would have them killed. But to the rape victims, I just would say that if a baby ensues, and there's enough stuff now that I think we can prevent a lot of that. Well,
here's the issue: is why did Todd Aiken make news? Why is Richard Murdoch making
Because I think people like you
news?
think this is. I don't understand what you guys don't get when we.
Well,
say
no, I mean
we're
these are serious issues, and we've seen it.
I understand, but I don't understand what you think we should believe. You didn't think we believed this?
No. Hold on. I do know you believe this.
Okay.
I do know that in anti-choice circles, what Todd Aiken said is considered just normal.
Well, I'm as
That's-
anti-choice as you can get,
That-
and I
but-
don't think what he said was normal. He made some medical claims that aren't necessarily true, and I could
That happens a lot in the anti-sex industry, whether it's throwing bean bags through cargo netting to represent the AIDS virus through a condom, and yes, that is part of some abstinence-only education programs,
Sure.
to believing that women have some sort of Star Wars defense system down there and their hormones. So really, if a woman gets pregnant, then it wasn't really rape. We've had the Republicans
Yeah,
in the
that's-
House of
that's
Representatives try to redefine.
But those people are silly.
Right?
I can't.
Well, one of those people is Paul Ryan, the vice presidential candidate for the Republican
Am I
Party.
voting for him?
Well, no.
Have you seen me say anything
No,
positive about these guys?
But here's the thing. This is why it's news, is because this is what anti-choice groups, this is what wing nuts tell each other, and it's what they believe. And it makes news when it emerges like a butterfly out of the I'm running for office for Pete's sake cocoon.
Yeah, these people, some people are nuts. I can't help you there. You got nuts people on your side.
Oh, absolutely. But we don't nominate them for vice president, except in the case of Joe Lieberman, but that's a different story. And nuts for a different reason.
Yeah, well,
We don't give Cynthia McKinney the party. All right? We don't give Dennis Kucinich,
I don't think
Cindy Sheehan, Ralph Nader the party. They're
here's
not
thing with-
taking the reins.
Here's the thing with the Republican Party is they have no idea how to save this sinking ship. None. Look at what they elected Mitt Romney to be our guy this time.
Yeah, because he was the best candidate they
he
had.
wasn't the best candidate they had. He
Who
was the only.
was?
He was the only one that would. Chris Christie would have been a great candidate. So would have Marco Rubio. So would have.
Oh, Marco! I would have loved to see
Yeah,
Marco.
I would have liked
I
Rick
want to see a
Perry.
guy advocate for the Dream Act in a Republican primary because that would be fun.
Yeah, I even like Rick Perry, but Mitt Romney.
Can you
is-
give me 3 reasons you like Rick Perry?
I like Rick Perry. I'd have to think about it now.
Good plan.
I think Rick Perry
Smart
didn't
dodge.
get the chance that he should have had because I do think he was on a bunch of painkillers and his debate performance was horrible. I think every time I've seen him speak since or before then, much more articulate.
I think he's a very good Texas Republican. I think he's a very bad national candidate. If for no other reason, then he didn't do the homework.
Well,
I think that's the biggest.
I think we need a
issue.
couple more years from
I
buffer
think,
from Bush.
I think Rick Perry's pretty much toast.
Oh no, I don't think Rick Perry will ever come back up. But I'm saying,
No. And I know prominent Republicans in the state who were very much looking forward to him getting in the race, thinking he was going to be a game changer and he was the guy they all wanted. And then he started speaking, and it wasn't just at the debates where he was hopped up on pain pills or whatever, threatening to kick the ass of the chairman of the Fed. And
I love that actually.
I mean, come on,
No, it's funny.
that's stupid.
But he's kidding. Come on now.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I think it's.
I mean, it'd be like me threatening to kick your ass. Do you really think I would do that?
no, I think what Rick Perry was trying to do.
He was trying to sound like a cowboy. Come on.
Well, yeah, it's to make
He's-
older,
he's-
impotent,
Sure,
and I
he's
mean that
pandering
in
to people.
multiple ways.
Yeah.
Men who are the base of the Republican Party feel more powerful, more stronger, better Americans, ditto heads, whatever you want to.
I even like Herman
call.
Cain, but he kind of sunk himself.
Oh, Herman Cain is awesome. I mean, who else quotes from Pokemon?
I do love Herman Cain.
I mean, if I didn't know better, like if I didn't have a friend who lost his time slot on the radio to Herman Cain, highest, Andy Kaufman-esque, absurdist comedy. Whether it was his, shooting animal campaign ads.
Can we get to the Donald Trump stuff? Because this is funny.
We'll get to it. But why this is news is because this is the stuff that circulates. And when it spouts out into the mainstream, people are, a little aghast. And again, part of the reason is so far in this race, Mitt Romney has only done one campaign ad. Can you guess who it's for? Play the Romney clip.
This fall, I'm supporting Richard Murdoch for Senate. As state treasurer, Richard worked with Governor Daniels to balance the budget and make government more accountable. As senator, Richard will be the 51st vote to repeal and replace government-run health care. Richard will help stop the liberal Reid-Pelosi agenda. With so much at stake, I hope you'll join me in supporting Richard Murdoch for U.S. Senate.
I'm Richard Murdoch, and I approve this message.
I'm Bradshaw, and I approve it even more.
Max messages are way better.
Immediately last night, Romney campaign spokesperson Andrea Saul said that they do not agree with the comments from Murdoch.
What don't they agree about? See, that's you can't really say you don't agree because they do.
Well,
I mean, anything less is just backing away because you're afraid of the backlash.
well, yeah, I think the bigger issue is that Romney has a deficit with women already. And he tied himself to Murdoch's ship.
Sure. What about the babies that were going to be girls that they want to kill? Are those not women? You not have a war on them? I mean, I don't think protecting life has anything to do with a war on women. I think that's silly.
Again, I'll believe that Republicans are truly pro-life when they care about what happens to people once they leave the birth canal. I understand anti-choice all that well. It typically boils down to you had the dirty, dirty sex and you deserve punishment. Why else oppose, for example,
I've never heard that
the Gardasil
anywhere
vaccine?
else.
Why else oppose the Gardasil vaccine?
The Gardasil, is that the...
That's the HPV.
You know, I don't. Here's the only thing I would...
Because they were afraid that it would turn girls into slutty sluts because there wouldn't
it's
be...
silly.
I know it's silly, but this
see,
is
here's
what
the
they
thing.
truly believe.
Here's the thing, though. They were forcing parents to get it, and I don't think you or anybody else should be able to tell me what I do with my children.
When it comes to communicable diseases?
Absolutely not. I don't think you should.
Whooping cough?
Nope. First of all, you don't have to get any of these things. Those are not required by law. You're building up something false here.
Well, they are, but you can get a religious exemption.
You can get I don't want my kids having a bunch of crap injected in them. I wouldn't want my daughter, I don't have one, but I wouldn't want my daughter having that shot until it had been tested. Now, I don't have a problem with her having it because that doesn't even necessarily... She could get married and it could happen the first time. It doesn't really have to do with being a slut. So I think that's kind of a silly
But that
thing.
was the argument, man, is that without...
But that's the stupid argument.
You could
The
have
better
sex without consequences, which is what most of the anti-choice discussion comes,
that
because you also
limits
see...
some of the consequences and protects against cancer. It's not without consequence anyway. It's silly.
But the argument is, again, from many of the anti-choice people, not just that we don't like abortion, because it's very easy to not like abortion, but still be pro-choice, because as you know, the receptacle of a Y chromosome, I don't really feel in a position to tell a woman what she can do with her vagine. I think so.
Okay, so aren't you in the position to say what she should do with a life?
No, because
I'm not telling
you know
her
what?
to do with her
I can
vagina.
never get knocked up and have some guy run off.
Yeah, but I'm not telling you what to do with your vagina, and
I'm not going to tell a woman what to do with hers either.
But that's not. But the life isn't her vagina.
But again, I would believe that they are actually like pro-life if they also were pro-contraceptives, pro-comprehensive sex education.
I think contraceptives are great. Me and my wife use them. I used them.
Yeah,
before.
I don't doubt your pro-life credentials.
I'm the normal.
I've spent too much time with Kim Lehman.
You spend too much time with crazy people.
Well, yeah, she's an RNC committee woman. What do you expect?
Well, there you go.
That's who represents the state of Iowa to the Republican
the Republican
National
Party
Committee.
is dying, and they're dying for exactly this reason. They handed it over to all the crazies, and they say stupid stuff. Like, I don't have a problem with contraceptives. I don't particularly want to be forced to pay for
but we have a
abortion,
Republican Party that wants to, legislate abstinence only, education only. No matter how many studies out there that show it is an abject failure.
I think, unfortunately, though, we look at places like Africa where we try to teach sex education with prophylactics
But I want
and stuff like that.
I want to talk about Des Moines, Iowa. I want to talk about
work.
New York City. I want to talk about...
But we don't have a study for those.
South Bend. Yes, we do, actually. We study these things.
Bradshaw, let me ask you a question. I know all about condoms, right? I've known about them for years. You probably have too, right?
Put one on a cucumber as good as anyone.
Okay.
Pinch the tip.
Did that really encourage you to use a condom more?
what's the nice way of saying that I wasn't in any position to be using them or even contemplate using them at the time we were putting them on bananas in the West Des Moines Community School District? I don't know if there's a good way of saying
that's your
that.
answer, is you weren't because I can tell you for me personally, and this shows you how much of a wretch I am. It didn't dissuade me one time. I don't like condoms.
I think the
They're
bigger,
uncomfortable. They don't
but
feel good.
The
Who
bigger
wants to have sex
issue
with
is the comprehensive sex education, which according to the Junior Anti-Sex League,
I think
aka
they should
GOP,
teach both. I think they should not.
well, abstinence is part of.
Yeah, I don't have
this
a
is
problem with that.
the part that the Kim Lehmans of the world don't want to hear is that abstinence is part of comprehensive. It's not about lying to children about the effectiveness of condoms. It's not about just showing them horror stories.
yeah,
it's information, and we know that
I
those
think we
kids
should just be honest with it. I mean,
who take the abstinence pledges,
those are silly.
I know, and they're actually counterproductive because what you encourage kids is to, not be prepared. And if you tell them condoms don't work, why would they put one on in the first place? These are the real world effects of the anti-choicers. And, like it or not, your voice is not the one calling the shots. We can have a fundamental disagreement and still be, agreeable over this.
That's
but
because we're not idiots.
the Richard Murdochs of the world.
I don't know that this guy said anything wrong. Now the other guy, what's his name? I forget now because I'm all in a bunch.
Aiken?
Aiken, yeah, he's an idiot.
But it's not just him.
I mean, that guy's stupid. Oh, they got a defense system against that. Even though that may be true that under high stress pregnancy, under high stress you're less likely to get pregnant. I think that's generally you have to be under high stress for a long period of time.
Yeah, I mean that's not how. But
Yeah,
even in
it's not
Pennsylvania,
like you had an hour of stress.
here's Tom Smith, and he is running for the Senate there. And when he was asked about Aiken's comments, said he lived through something similar to that with his own family. Mm-hmm. Do you have any? In a million years, you wouldn't guess what he was referring to.
I would hope he was referring to his wife or daughter being raped if he's going to make that claim.
His daughter got pregnant out of wedlock.
Okay.
That he said, as a father.
Well, that's
It's
very
similar.
frustrating, but that's not similar to rape.
Well,
I mean, I can understand as a father that being a big letdown, but I don't know about being
again, the Republican messaging machine used to be so good. Do we need a 12th Republican commandment now? The 11th is, not speak ill of a Republican. That one's pretty much been thrown out
Yeah, we do that
the
all the
window
time.
in the rhino hunt. Don't bring up rape. Or I guess from my side, I would say, please talk about it. Be honest. Tell us what you really think, and let's have an honest discussion.
But see, I think that honest discussion people would be walking away going, well, this is what the religion believes. I mean, you either have to deny the right of most religions.
It's not a matter of denying.
Sure.
It's right. You're saying my religion demands that I limit your rights.
Most religions.
My
would say
religion
that.
demands that I limit your rights.
Most religions would say that
It's the basis of, for example, the same-sex marriage argument.
I understand that. But see, here's the thing. I'm not really looking for government to change these things. I'm looking for the church to change
Well, the Republican Party is,
Yeah.
and that's the problem.
They're misguided, though. I mean,
I would agree with
the
that.
right to life. Yeah, I'm all about government involvement there, but the same-sex marriage thing, I don't even think it's the business of the government.
But it's the same motivation.
It's the only reason the government wants to do anything with marriage because they want to tax people. It has nothing to do with trying to put together families that last a lifetime, and that's the church's job.
No, part of it is incentivizing behavior.
I don't think
That's
so at all.
a good chunk of what
it's
the tax-
incentivizing tax dollars.
Well, that's how we incentivize behavior in this country. In a
It's not
perfect
the
world,
government's
every
job to do
American
that.
could buy a home. You would want, now obviously reality gets in the way of this. For more information, ask The Economy from late 2008. But it's why we want to encourage home buying. It is a foundation of our economy.
What's wrong with rental?
Nothing's wrong with rental.
Okay, then why would we need to
But we
encourage
give-
one over the other?
I-
Why do you need to encourage home buying over
if for
home
no
rent?
other reason, construction. You want to encourage new
Well, but
home starts.
There's
It's
tax
why
credits and stuff like that, but that's not.
yeah, but that's why we give those tax credits to incentivize behavior.
Yeah, but we give those to incentivize movement in the economy, not a behavior.
Well, yeah, the ultimate goal is to improve the economy, the ownership society.
I would say the only goal is. I don't
Yeah.
think they care. You think
But
Barack
it's
Obama or anybody else cares that you own or don't own a house?
Probably not, but it would be a big problem if people stopped buying houses.
People did stop buying houses for
and
several
we saw,
years. I was
and
a real
we
estate
saw
agent.
what
Now
that
I'm
did.
producing a radio show.
Yeah, we saw what that did to the economy. So that you can incentivize behavior, but when you cross that line to say, this should be banned, this should be stopped. If you want a really fun discussion with someone, and I've asked this of some of the biggest blowhards I've ever met. Give me a non-religious reason to ban same-sex marriage, for example. And it will shut Jonathan Narcissus up cold. But I digress.
Yeah, no, we've been off the rabbit trail.
Yeah, the Murdoch, though. I mean, he is nutty. He has taken what should have been, Paul Ryan versus a Kenyan in the New York Marathon, real times, and turned it into an actual competitive race. And with this, Joe Donnelly may win. And again, a seat Dick Lugar has held, solidly are for most of my lifetime. So I guess, again, kudos to the Tea Party. If you're not nominating Sharon Engel or Christine O'Donnell, you're giving us the Richard Murdochs and hurting the Republican Party. And don't kid yourself. That women vote. I know many of you still decry the fact that we gave them the franchise. These things don't help. I'm not going to try to mansplain to women why you need to care about these things or any of those issues. But again, I don't think it just hurts the Republican Party. I think it ultimately hurts, Dan, your cause.
I don't think this guy's comments did anything negative. I mean, that's.
I think it causes people to go, when it comes to the religious rights influence in politics.
I think that's a great conversation, though. I'm excited that people are pushing this conversation because we need to have it.
Not as excited as I am.
I mean, it's the freedom of religion is one that kind of cracks me up because we have people going, "Oh, our country's Christian, except we allow for the freedom of religion." And it's like, yeah, that's not really a Christian principle.
My belief is special.
Yeah, it's silly to me. I don't know why on earth, if we were a Christian nation, we would provide freedom of religion.
It's the motivation behind, well, then, obviously, the laws of this nation should, be based on my preferred holy book. You look at any, Middle Eastern theocracy. If you just change the text in the leader's hands, you swipe out the Quran for a King James Bible, way too many Republicans in this country would be absolutely on board.
Say that again.
Take Saudi Arabia.
Okay, Old Testament, but you said Old Testament.
Remove the Quran, put in a King James Bible, and they're on board.
Yeah, but see, you're referring to the Old Testament laws, right?
Well, again,
because most of Christianity in America doesn't.
Oh, no, they love their Leviticus. They certainly love their book of Genesis. It's why they want to teach it in science class.
Well, it's because it's factual. But the yeah, I know. You can have this argument. You have no idea.
In the entire 6,000-year history of the Earth.
And you know it's not 6,000 years?
Well, yeah, we have science to back that.
And science is reliable?
Yes.
And how
dogs have been domesticated. Little Vader's been domesticated longer than 6,000 years.
He's like a year old. That's impossible. I mean, even your premise there. But how do you know that science is reliable?
Everything from carbon, well, not carbon dating, because that only goes back, 75,000 years?
Yeah.
But radiometric dating in general.
Okay.
Is a good way of doing
and
this.
You worked
looking
on
at the
things.
Doppler shift in stars.
What is the fact that the stars appear to be a certain age have to do with when God created them? I mean, He didn't create Adam as a baby. He created Adam as a man.
So you're of the belief that light was just kind of
I
linked
think-
into
I
being
think if-
already on its way.
I think that if God can create the
To
world
Earth.
and the universe around us, that he certainly can put light where he wants it.
Seems kind of convenient.
It
But
seems kind of logical. What's
well,
inconvenient
now
is...
logical. I'm not going
What's
to make that
inconvenient
stretch.
for you is that you want nothing and nothing to have combined together to make nothing that somehow became intelligent life, and you have no...
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That's quantum mechanics.
That's mathematically incorrect.
Actually, that's not true.
Explain to me the origin of matter.
I'm going to defer to Richard Feynman on this one.
Because you don't have an answer. Not because you're
Well,
deferring to
you're
him.
right. I'm not a quantum,
Because
physicist.
you can't answer the most basic. We teach this in school in like first grade. 0 plus 0 is always 0. Anything where you take 2 zeros, no matter how you divide it, times it, quadruple it, whatever, it's always 0.
Yeah, but we're not talking about math. We're talking about quantum relativity.
But the problem is you can't account for matter. The very basis of you'd have to have some matter. My only question is I'm fine with the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, because we have the evidence of it. It's called
No,
part
I'm-
of the static
I'm just-
on your television
I'm
is
just-
background radiation. It's the light
No,
from
I'm just-
the Big Bang Theory.
I'm
or
not
Big Bang,
conceding that. I'm just saying.
well,
I'll
no,
let,
I mean this
let
is
you be
this
insane.
is true. No, in fact,
Because you say so.
it was the folks at AT&T trying to get rid of why is this background noise back there? And it is light that has degraded.
So how do you account for the origin of matter, Bradshaw? And riddle me that. Just the origin of matter, the very first particle that had to combine with something.
The fact is, right now, our laws, our understanding of the world of physics breaks down in a singularity where the universe
and I would
started
just say that singularity is God, and we start from there. And
well,
then
and this is the difference between faith and evidence, which is you can't just stop asking and say God did it.
No, I'm not
Not
stop
the God
asking.
of the
There's tons of
gaps.
evidence. I'm just you're not gonna. If I could argue with you about the complexity of an eye, it wouldn't change your mind. We had this conversation. If I could prove to you God was here, if God beamed up right now, you wouldn't sit down and worship him, would you?
I'd want to know why he wanted to be worshipped. Because let's
Because
be
he's
honest, if
God.
I had the power to blink the universe in existence, I wouldn't really care what we meat popsicles have to say
But
about
who would
things.
you be to talk to God and ask God questions if he could prove to you he did it? Because we're already told not to prove that we don't need to prove this stuff. But
Yeah, that mindset, is foreign to me.
I
want
not.
to know answers.
You were grown up a Christian.
I want
It's
the
not foreign to
Higgs
you.
boson. I want to know.
You don't want
how
answers.
matter
You want
comes
excuses
together.
so that you can
I want
not
explanations
worship God.
and I want evidence.
Why?
I don't need evidence. Not
You
and
can't
this is a-
explain the most basic question that I asked you, which is what is the origin of merit?
and I can say we
matter?
don't know.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that God says He knows.
Who created God?
God.
Who created that
He's
God?
infinite. No, there's not. We're not Mormons. It's infinite. He is God, was God, and always will be God.
And that to me is
I
the end of curiosity.
well, that's like me. I am settling on the same thing you are. I have no answer for how God came into being, except that He says that He always was, and I'm just going to have to trust in my own limited human understanding.
I
that
want some
can
empirical evidence, and that's the difference.
But the problem is with empirical evidence is you can't account for reason. You can look at it, you say this is a pin, but you don't know that based off any of your senses. You know it because your ability to reason, and you can't prove that would happen out of a Big Bang. Intelligent life can't come out of stardust, sir. It just can't.
It did.
It
You
did.
and I are literally the products of exploded stars.
It didn't. It didn't, Bradshaw. It just
you're
didn't.
denying basic facts.
No,
and that's the
I'm
problem.
just being
This is my problem with just blind faith, blind belief. Is it requires,
It didn't.
ignoring
It just didn't.
reality. Where do
It's
you
not
think?
ignoring
Where do you
reality.
think like the heavier
Why?
molecules and atoms came from?
Why do you think that most people throughout history have believed in a God? Is it because they're all stupid? Because you think that you would rather blame this on aliens?
No, I think
I mean,
the very basic, fundamental human longing is to, get answers.
and why would we have
before, frankly, before the scientific revolution that gave us Newton, to Einstein,
Except
all the
that
way
Einstein believed in
to
God.
Hawking. He believed in Spinoza's God.
It doesn't matter. He believed in a
He
God.
did not believe in a guy with a beard sitting on a throne.
I don't believe with a guy in a beard.
demanding-
Nobody said anything about a beard. In fact, last
Okay,
time
clean
Jesus
shaven.
last time Jesus Christ was in the earth, they plucked his beard from his face. So
But
there's
you're humanizing, you're anthropomorphizing what Einstein.
I'm just saying that Einstein believed in a God.
Not in any way that, a James Dobson
But you don't even
would
believe
agree.
in a God.
Correct.
Okay.
'Cause-
So you can't invoke Einstein that would tell you you're wrong.
No, okay. You are mangling Einstein's belief of God, this supernatural being that just kind of winks into
What other
existence.
belief is there? Somehow he became... Define for me any other type of God. I mean,
a figment of imagination.
well, I know that's your definition, but
That's-
but Einstein had a belief in a God.
Yeah, the laws of nature.
He didn't think nature was a God.
Yeah, he actually did.
No, he didn't. I'll bring the article tomorrow. Okay,
All right.
back to...
We'll look into that.
Yep, let's do that.
But that scientific revolution provided better answers than
It
religion
provided more questions.
did. It did provide more questions. Again, we've gone from leeching to antibiotics, from demons to germ theory.
Do you really
we
think
look for better answers?
So you think that every demon possession ever was just germs?
No, I don't believe there are demons.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
I don't believe we need to find out if witches float.
I don't either.
I don't think we need an inquisition
Nope, I don't think so either.
or a crusade.
Yeah, I don't think we needed that either.
No, this is my point, though. You ask, why do people believe in religion?
But
One,
just 'cause
we're
you're pointing
scared. We're scared. What-less of death. Number one,
Sure.
and we want reassurance.
Why
And
would-
religion throughout history, even before
Why
Christianity.
would we be scared of death? Is an animal scared of death?
Yeah, it's a
No.
basic part of our brain that wants us to keep breathing, keep eating.
Yeah, but see, that's just that's not how it is, because we would throw ourselves into danger because we don't know when death strikes. How many people die instantaneously? Most.
Many, but we try to avoid it.
Yeah, but we wouldn't care. We
Why
wouldn't
do you
think
have
about
a
it.
fight or flight instinct?
Do you think that dogs think about death, really?
No, I don't think they have those kind of higher thoughts, but
And then
they
why
do
do
have
we-
a survival instinct.
Why do we have them?
Why do we have thoughts of
Yeah,
death?
why-
Because we have a very large brain. We have a very
so the
complicated...
size of the brain is directly
brain.
relevant
The
to...
complexity of the brain, yes, to thought processes, which is why different animals have different levels of conscious thoughts. The difference between us
Well,
and a
except that a
baboon
parrot-
and a dolphin,
Except
or
a parrot's significantly more smarter than like a cat. So
well, anything smarter than a cat.
yeah,
if you
but
ask
the
me.
brain size doesn't play into that.
But how about the brain complexity?
You'd have to have a brain neurosurgeon.
Find
or
an
something, yeah.
evolutionary biologist, but you don't believe in evolution.
No, I believe in microevolution. Sure, I just don't believe in macro.
What happens when microevolution happens over millions of years?
It's called microevolution. Small changes over millions of years create new species.
That's evolution. That's macroevolution to
No,
create new species.
Well, but that's
You
we
believe
haven't-
in
we haven't had-
macroevolution.
We haven't had millions of years, and we're not going to evolve into anything other than humans, Bradshaw.
Why do we have an appendix?
Why do we have an appendix? I don't know.
Tailbone.
Why, I don't know. Here's the problem, though. You're asking.
We are a transitional fossil.
We are not a transitional fossil. First of all, we don't have the tailbone in the sense that you would like to claim that it's a nub to a tail. Second of all, we have a common creator. So the fact that we have similar personality.
But why do we have vestigial organs? Why do we have wisdom teeth?
We use them, or we used to. Back before we had dental care plans, we had to have those teeth grow in after we lost the first ones.
No, wisdom teeth. The ones in the far back we don't
I-
really have space for, and most people have them removed.
Yeah, yes, I understand, but I'm saying before we had good dentists, you would rot your teeth out, and so these would grow in because there would be space.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I still want an explanation of the appendix, though. Especially when we can find similar organs in, herbivores. And it's to break down cellulose.
Okay,
But we
well,
don't chew our cud as much anymore.
Well, maybe we used to. I don't know.
Maybe we did. Maybe
But
our
I
ancestors
don't think that
did.
proves we evolved. That means that we used to eat differently, which would make sense because back then they didn't have microwaves and everything,
but-
and processed food. And
But hold on. It's not like it just stopped working one day.
it's not done working now.
Like
Who
if
says
I
it doesn't work?
if I go and eat nothing but grass for a year, my appendix isn't going to start breaking down cellulose.
Sure.
So why is it there?
I don't know.
Where'd it come from?
Why does it matter? What's the hanging ball in the back of the throat for? I don't know.
Well, that's mostly for like germ crap collection.
I'm just saying I don't know. I don't have to have all these answers.
Uvula. I want those answers.
Why?
I want to understand.
What benefit does it give you? I mean, if
knowledge,
but God gave you
learning,
as much knowledge as you want. You just don't. You don't like that it starts with God, because let's be honest, you don't like religion because it makes you say horrible, evil things.
No, here's the difference. And this is the path I had to walk. Was the world works just as fine without the supernatural?
I disagree.
It's not necessary.
Yeah, because taking God out of schools has worked real well. We've had a lot less crime. Oh wait, no.
Actually, crime is down the last.
It's not down over the next.
Years.
It's not down from the last 50 years, Bradshaw.
It's down over the last 20. We had some serious problems in the late 70s, early 80s, and crime is absolutely down.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Since then,
we got to handle stuff. I'm not saying the secular world can't handle stuff. I'm just saying that we're going to progressively see things get worse. I would say that if you look at the 80s, the world me and you grew up in was a lot better than what my kids are growing up in. A lot better.
I don't know. Let's go back even further. The Dark Ages, for example. Would you like to grow up then?
No, I like where I was at. God put me in a great place.
There was a lot of religion in schools then, if you could get into a school.
Sure. I'm not saying everything's right. I mean, you can't just, because some Christians did something wrong, you can't throw the whole thing under the bus.
No, I'm just saying that it's not necessary.
Let's get to your other videos.
Works just as fine.
We could make fun of this one
with
together.
that. We'll talk more about this when the election's over. We've got real stuff to talk about these days. And yes, the Al Capone's vault for days now. Donald Trump has a secret announcement. Donald Trump, has, at one point it was some drawn up divorce papers between the Obamas, that after his first Senate run, they were such debt, it caused such stress. Insiders whose gnomes told them.
Why would that be a big deal?
I don't know.
I mean, that's so they had trouble in their marriage at one point.
Well, and that again, these were just the rumors. This was supposed to be the October surprise, a big.
I just wonder what that would have done. That's so silly.
Well, long story.
I know.
This is the announcement that Donald Trump made this morning.
This fall, I'm supporting Richard Murdoch for Senate.
President Obama is the least transparent president in the history of this country. There's never been anything like it. We know very little about our president. I'm very honored to have gotten him to release his long-form birth certificate. President Obama is the least transparent president in the history of this country. There's never been anything like it. We know very little about our president. I'm very honored to have gotten him to release his long-form birth certificate, or whatever it may be. Now,
or whatever
many people have questions, and very serious questions. I have a deal for the president, a deal that I don't believe he can refuse, and I hope he doesn't. If Barack Obama opens up and gives his college records and applications, and if he gives his passport applications and records, I will give to a charity of his choice, Inner City Children in Chicago, American Cancer Society, AIDS research, anything he wants, a check immediately for $5 million. The check will be given within 1 hour after he releases all of the records so stated. He'll be doing a great service for the country if he does this. If he releases these records, it will end the question and indeed the anger of many Americans. They'll know something about their president. Their president will become transparent like other presidents. So all he has to do to get $5 million for a charity or charities of his choice is get his colleges to immediately give his applications and records, and also to release his passport records. When he does that, to my satisfaction, if it's complete, this check is delivered immediately. A lot of people will be very, very happy to see this happen. Frankly, it's a check that I very much want to write. I absolutely would be the most happy of all if I did, in fact, make this contribution through the president to these charities. One caveat, the records must be given by October 31st at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Mr. President, not only will I be happy, and by the way, totally satisfied, but the American people will be happy. And you know what? Those charities will be very, very happy. Thank you, Mr. President.
What's left? I have a question. Maybe you can answer this one, Dan. When he said, it will answer the questions of many Americans. What questions are those?
I don't know. Here's the thing. I guess I wasn't. I assumed that when you became president, there were people that would make sure that you're a citizen, that you basic credentials are in order. I assume these people exist, right?
Yeah, what this is birtherism 2.0, the long-form birth certificate.
Is it even a requirement that he went to college?
Well, no, but
okay, then
this
is so silly.
Here's what he's trying to stir up. And again, between different days, the different conspiracy theories that one, that he applied as a foreign student. Two, that his passport shows that he spent his time in Muslim countries. The conspiracy theories are kind of never ending. But this belief that he required affirmative action to get into college or applied as a Kenyan. He's lying about his, how many copies of Dreams of My Real Father have been mailed out? Like literally like a million plus copies in Ohio and Florida. I know some people in Iowa have gotten them. It's never ending. And I already know what the president's response to Donald Trump is going to be because we've already seen it. At the White House Correspondents' Dinner with Donald Trump in the audience. First, the president played a video of his birth. It was a clip from The Lion King. He said, just so Fox is clear, that's a joke. But then he got on to Trump and bring up the clip of Obama talking to Mr. Trump in the White House Correspondents' Dinner to Trump's face.
A vicious rumor floating around that I think could really hurt Mitt Romney. I heard he passed universal health care when he was governor of Massachusetts. Someone should get to the bottom of that. And I know just the guy to do it. Donald Trump is here tonight. Now, I know that he's taken some flack lately. But no one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
That last one's real.
All kidding aside, obviously we all know about your credentials and breadth of experience. For example, no, seriously, just recently in an episode of Celebrity Apprentice at the steakhouse, the men's cooking team did not impress the judges from Omaha Steaks. And there was a lot of blame to go around, but you, Mr. Trump, recognized that the real problem was a lack of leadership. And so ultimately you didn't blame Little John or Meatloaf. You fired Gary Busey. And these are the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night. Well handled. Say what you will about Mr. Trump. He certainly would bring some change to the White House. Let's see what we've got up there.
That's pretty much all the response you need for Donald Trump.
I still want to know where Biggie and Tupac are, though.
I would like to remind everyone that for a time, Donald Trump was actually leading in the polls, the nationwide polls. He was the Republican frontrunner, and then again, who wasn't, for a time, based on really nothing other than the long-form birth certificate. Let that sink in for a minute. Maybe one of my favorite Republican Party of Iowa fundraisers ever was the Lincoln Day dinner, hosted by Donald Trump. We're going to celebrate the man who freed the slaves with a birther. And we wonder why the Republican Party of Iowa is in such bad shape. Even the Ron Paul people can take it over. By the way, the event was canceled. Donald backed out. That would have been high comedy. All right, we'll get to this pretty decent move, I think, by the president to let loose his interview with the Register's editorial board. And the story that's not getting any attention that matters far more than what some kook in Indiana or some crank in Missouri have to say, and that is the Obama ground game and why it's going to win him the election. All right, we'll talk about that and more tomorrow. In the meantime, go to thebradshawshow.com. It's got everything you need. Show archives if you want to see my devastatingly accurate predictions for all 4 debates. It's all in there. Contact info, email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw. And we'll reconvene tomorrow, same bat time, same bat place, here at 1:30 on The Bradshaw Show on Webcast One Live. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.